Yeah, let him get a little, time with the
We are back. It is the Talking Sports. We're looking at college football like we do every Saturday and give you all the information you need to hustle out to Birmingham Greyhound Racing and win big on the Sports Parlay Contest. Big game in the SEC, CBS 2:30, which is kind of a bummer for the Cajun folks down there. They wanted Georgia at night. CBS ruined that.
Yeah,
so it's going to be all the LSU fans are still hungover from Friday night for a 2:30 game. They haven't recovered yet.
What are you saying, Kip?
Yeah, so I'm saying it's a little more serene in an afternoon game. So that takes one big peg out of the LSU holster. But the Tigers, I can't decide the loss to Florida last week if they're going to come back angry and like a cornered animal in this game, or if there's going to be some doubt in their mind now as they play a very talented Georgia team.
Yeah, I like Georgia here minus the 7 points. We talked about this earlier. Probably wasn't a game that we would pick as one of our favorites. But if I was picking it, I like Georgia minus the 7 points. This LSU team still is not a great offensive team, and they really showed clinks in the armor last week. The Cookie Monster finally showed up and showed out. I mean, the LSU going downhill, ladies and gentlemen. Take the Georgia, give up the 7 points here. This Georgia team is for real. Their problem is they're not as real as Alabama, Kip.
Georgia's very, very young. I mean, and you hear Coach say it all the time, but Georgia literally is very young.
Yes.
The front seven on defense, and now they've had a couple of their experienced guys on the offensive line go down. Of course,
that's true.
Like you said, they've replaced them with five-star recruits that are true freshmen.
Mays.
Yeah, and then I'm sorry, but I need to learn my linemen better. But they put in a big freshman last week against Vanderbilt, number 64. He was pancaking people in his debut. He's one of those guys so excited he didn't know what he was supposed to do. So I'm just going to knock this guy on his shoulder blades. I think Georgia's been tinkering with the offense a little bit. I think they're going to put together kind of a comprehensive plan here. I'm not comfortable coughing up 7, but I think Georgia wins this game.
Yeah, I like Georgia here.
The other two games are a little bit intriguing. I just mentioned Florida coming off a huge 3-game stretch here, and they've beaten Mississippi State and LSU back-to-back. If ever a team could be a little flat for a trip to Nashville, Vanderbilt's not that good, but this is one of those games where you just kind of have the feeling that this is going to be a tough game for Florida.
Yeah, this is a game, again, I wouldn't bet on. But since we pick them, let's pick them, Kip.
Pick them.
I like Florida here. I'd give up the 7 points based on talent, but historically, Florida has had a hard time with Vanderbilt, particularly in this time frame, this early morning time frame, which I think this game picks off. Yep. Not a good time for Florida, not a good trip for Florida, but this Florida team is on a high. They riding, ladies and gentlemen, and I believe they're going to beat down the Vanderbilt and show the nation that this team is a threat in the SEC East. I don't think they'll look ahead to Georgia because they know if they mess up, there's no big game against the Bulldogs. It won't matter.
Exactly right. And we need to give credit where credit's due. We had a lot of question marks about Felipe Franks going into the season. I think this kid is maturing and becoming a pretty darn good quarterback.
Yeah, I watched the Florida Gators offense early in this year in practice. I was 20 yards off the sideline. The guy liked to hit me in the head with the ball on a fly pattern. But he has straightened it out. He got his pass straight. He got his form down. Got his head right. Getting his drop back right. It's starting to work out for him. Dan Mullins might be the quarterback whisperer, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Dan Mullins said at halftime of that game that we need our quarterback to be more physical and run a little tougher. Second half, he made a couple great runs to keep drives alive. So Dan Mullen is doing the job at Florida and is going to get it done. Yes. Real quick, we only got 30 seconds. South Carolina, that miracle win, you were gracious to give me credit, but they were very fortunate to win that game. 2 weeks in a row, because now the Aggies come in off of stopping Kentucky, which I thought also could happen. What do you think about that game?
In the breadbasket, Kip.
Thank you.
You got this one, baby. I'm giving this one to you.
Right.
You picked this one.
Well, I'm telling you, it's going to be one of Kip's catastrophes. I will tell you why, because we're out of time in this segment. But I love Texas A&M in this spot going to Columbia. We'll have our Kip's catastrophes. We'll have our Legends losers. And we'll give you the lineup of games today on ABC 3340. Stay with us. You're watching Talking Sports.